Gonna be a pretty exciting day. I'm going to challenge myself to build a complete startup, specifically a SaaS product, within 24 hours. So if you don't know what a SaaS product is, it's a software as a service. I've seen other people build SaaS products on YouTube before in a short time frame, maybe in a 48 hours or maybe a week, but I've not seen anyone do it in 24 hours. So I'm going to challenge myself to see if it is possible to build a complete SaaS product in just 24 hours. So my plan is to build a web application that can be universally converted to an iOS app and an Android app. So it's this new trendy model where you just build once and then you can repurpose it and use it anywhere, like across the web, Windows, Mac, iOS and Android, all with just one code base. So first off, what I'm going to build is a web application that will encompass a responsive UI that will adapt to smaller screens so that I can force feed into an app that can be published to the App Store and the Android Play Store. And to make this challenge more complete, I will have to set a few requirements so that it's not like a sloppy mock-up that I just randomly built to put on my portfolio. It's going to be a full-fledged enterprise system that can be deployed, or rather I will have to deploy the website onto a server and make it available for anyone to use. So by the time this video comes out, this website should be live for you to sign up and use already. So that's number one, to deploy the web application to a server that can be used by you guys watching this video right now. Number two, it has to be production ready. So it has to come with all the rate limits, authentication, all the basic necessary stuff that makes the web application secure and have that base minimum level of foundation security there to make sure that it is production ready. And that's pretty much the only two things that I can think of. I personally haven't done deploying an app to the App Store or the Android Play Store yet using this way of building, so I'm not exactly sure if I can do that, but if I manage to do that, that would be a bonus. That would require me to have like a Apple developer program license as well as the Android developer license to publish it. And in terms of publishing, it's a bit complicated. I've done publishing before, but just not in the context of this way of building things. I'm going to solve my own problem and build an entire system based on it to solve this problem that I have. So right now, there isn't a way to track the places that you have went and the places that you want to go. Done a little bit of market research, but not really in that detail. But from what I see, I believe there are a lot of other people having the same issue as well, not having a central place to track the places that they have went, the places they want to go, making a system that can track the places that you have went before, as well as the places you want to visit. So there is currently a way to do that, but it's not very good. So this is currently the way me and my girlfriend are tracking the places that we want to visit. A list of cafes here, and we are using Google Maps to do that. So they have a map view here of all the pins, the places that we have added to this list, and you can create multiple lists like this. It's not very good because this search bar here is supposed to search for any place on Google Maps, but it's not a search bar to filter like your list to find certain things in this list. So let's say if I want to search for something in the list, maybe a cafe, let's say Folkyard, I will have to scroll through the entire list one by one to search where is this thing. Alright, I'm not exactly sure where is it, but you see, that's the problem. I can't find where is it just by manually scrolling here and there. Let's say we already visited like a place, right? Let's say the Lola's Cafe here. So I just click on it and this view will pop up here. We will uncheck this and remove it off this list. So this list is actually shared between me and my girlfriends. So once we remove this from this list, it's gone forever. Unless we create like a new list to say that we have went to this place. That is pretty much a workaround for that. A lot of the reviews from Google Maps come with certain benefits. Let's say maybe they provide you like a free drink and then you give them a review of the cafe and then they'll give you a free drink. And that makes the reviews on Google Maps not really reliable because they are somewhat forced to give a good review. I'm going to take it a step further by incorporating the social media element to it. Let's say you added a place to your list and then your friends or someone who follow you can see the places that you went. I'm not too sure yet, the exact details have not been planned out yet, but that is the rough plan of what I am going to do. So sometimes we see places that are recommended by other users on other social media platforms like Instagram, Lemonade, or TikTok that you see and you really want to visit. But those places just get lost in your TikTok saved feed or Instagram saved box. All these are just scattered everywhere. So the goal is to make it easy to import those places that you see on TikTok or Instagram. Just combine and pull all of the places that you want to visit into one central place to make it easy to track all these places that you want to go. So the time right now is 1:28 p.m. on a Thursday in August. So hopefully we can get this whole system running, built and deployed within the next 24 hours. That is 1:28 p.m. tomorrow on 9th of August, which is National Day for Singapore. So the most important thing, or rather the least important thing, is what do we call this startup that we're gonna build. I've been thinking for it a little bit, and I think the name that makes the most sense is Bean, which is a short form for been to. I've been to this place, I've been to this country, so that's where the name comes from. But the problem with such a common name, and especially if you use English words in your domain, and especially because this word is only 4 letters, which makes it extremely expensive to buy like a .com domain, maybe like a bean.com or beandoc. Or so what I found here on spaceship.com, I believe is a sister company of namecheap.com, which is a domain provider. So I found this domain called bean.place, and for $20 a year. I think this is a very nice name because Bean Place. I've been to this place. This is a pretty nice domain that I found, and I'm just gonna check out and use this name now. So we're gonna officially call this startup bean.place. So right now, if you're watching this domain should be live with the entire system that I built here in just 24 hours for you to use right now. Try it out and let me know if it works for you. And let me know how useful is this system for you, and will you be willing to pay for a subscription to using a convenient platform like this. Alright, I've just checked out and bought the domain. Yeah, bean.place for 19 Singapore dollars. So if you're wondering why I bought a domain just to test a startup, it's because I mentioned this at the start of the video, right? The goal is to make this a production ready platform, not just a random startup that I'm doing that I can just throw it away after this video. It is going to be a platform that I'll continue to develop and work on and hopefully use every day to make my life better. If you're just testing a random idea that you have or you just want to test the market, I don't recommend this. But I usually like to make things more official when I build things, because there are a couple of things that require a proper email address, like sending off emails. If I want to send an email to my users from the platform, I will need a domain name to send it from. And signing up for other platform services specifically for this startup will make it easier as well, because I can just sign up with that domain's email rather than using my general email that will have everything combined into one. And sometimes if you're also a software engineer or software developer like me, you sometimes feel that adrenaline rush. You get that very sick idea that you want to build. You just think that this idea is so good, people will just line up and queue to pay for your service when you launch. But that's not it most of the time. So this is actually one of the ideas that I had a long time ago. It has been so difficult to track places I want to go when there's so many platforms that I'm tracking places I want to go, and it just gets lost in the end. We just forget where we want to go, the places that we want to go, and places that we have already went. And that is what I'm trying to achieve with this platform here. So first things first, we are going to wrap Cloudflare in front of our domain, so you can have the additional layer of security in front of our domain. So it's actually pretty simple to set it up. So now we have got the Cloudflare hooked up to the domain provider. Now we just have to wait for the name servers to resolve to Cloudflare's name servers. So right now we're gonna start building the platform. So in case you haven't watched my previous video, I've been building this startup called the Cosmic, which is a system to build your own custom AIs easily. Within just seconds, you can get your own AI up running. So we're gonna just copy paste this entire system into our base code for bean.place. I've spent the last 6 months building the Cosmic into what it is now. So currently the Cosmic is still in private closed beta, but I am planning to release it into an open beta sometime in end August or September. So what we're gonna do is reuse most of the code that we have there because I've set up the authentication, the roles, the groups. I've made a lot of the parts reusable. Which is why I took 6 months to build this, because I wanted to make as many reusable parts as possible to make it such that I can build new products by using it as a boilerplate code that I can instead focus on building the application. So for context, the front end I'm using Next.js 14 and the back end I'm using .NET 8 for my API. So right now I'm gonna try to figure out how we can call this API using a REST client first before we actually go ahead and build something. So according to the docs here, I have to create a maps identifier and a private key first, and then I have to use that key to generate a token through the API endpoint. So it has been a couple of hours since I last updated. So right now it's actually 7:48 PM. So it has been about 6 hours in, and I roughly have the base foundation set up already. I just need to get the basic functions in now because it took me quite a while to get everything sorted. So I've come up with a very basic rebrand of the Cosmic website to Bean Place. So this is what I have right now. So I spent the last 3 or 4 hours or so tidying up the code base, as well as implementing the APIs for calling the Apple Maps API, as well as storing it, caching it on my database, and then combining it and returning it to the front end. So when someone calls a query like this, like the autocomplete here, it will essentially fetch any cached data places from my database, and those that are not cached yet will be fetched from the API, will be fetched from the Apple Maps API and stored on my database. So this makes it a lot better. If we want to index a place or show a place detail, we can immediately find it from our database, and there will be no need to call Apple's API anymore. Alright, time check. It has been a while since I last updated, and it is now almost 3 AM in the morning. So right now it's already 2:42 AM, and I think I've only achieved like maybe 70% of the app functionality. So let's show you what I've done so far. So I've already integrated the map kit view into the page here under the map page URL. So it takes up the whole screen, and there's a navigation bar on top which will lead to the other pages. So nothing much on this page. It's pretty much just a plain map view that you can zoom in and zoom out. So if we go back to the home page, I'm reusing this from my Cosmic and create a new list, which you can call it some list that you want, and then it will redirect to that list. And for now, this is not done yet, but this will have like a list of locations that you have added to this list. So there's this global search here where you can search for places. Let's say we search for Lola's Cafe, and it will simply call the Apple Maps server API and load up a bunch of places that match the place you are looking for, and this is grounded on your location as well. So you actually show the places that are nearest to you sorted by the distance. So the ones on top will be nearer to you and the ones below will be further from you. So I managed to get the caching to work. I cached all the places information into my database here, all the details that the API has returned to me, so that we can retrieve it faster. So if you were to look for the place, this page will pop up. It is a page dedicated to that place, and then we have the location here, the map view, and then the post will appear under here. So that's basically what I have so far. Not much done, but I would say most of it is there, and we are running out of time already. I will see what else I can do within this few minutes before I go to sleep. Alright, it's a brand new day. It's currently 12:44 PM. We have about less than an hour to the time where this 24 hours challenge expires. Let me show you what we have so far. So this is the landing page I showed before. I've just updated a screenshot of the map view here in the bottom, so it looks much better than the previous one with the old Cosmic sample image of the dashboard. So nothing much on the landing page. If you go to the dashboard here, so this home page, you can see a list of your lists, but this page is supposed to be a list of posts. Maybe you can still keep the list of your list on top here, and then the below will be like a community feed of where people are going and people want to go. So the community feed, not done yet. And the search, we can filter by the list that you have. If you go to the list, this is the list view of the places that you have added to this list, and this will be like a map view of the pins of the places in this list. A lot more work has to be done here, like rendering the pins and easily removing and adding new places from this list. So we go to the settings here, we can change the name of the list, and then we can also add other members to this list. So if you go to the map view, so this map view is also very much incomplete. Right now it's very much just a map view with nothing in it, but you can press on different things in the map to see what is it. But right now, since API doesn't really provide the icon information, the opening hours information, so it's a bit hard to render custom components on that. We have to use this new component that they just released in this year's WWDC. So if you click on any pin here, it will show like a card of the place details. All these details are not in the API, so there's no way to retrieve it at all. So we have to use this card to render this detail here. And there is this page that allows you to search by places. So if we go to this box here, it will find the place and then it will drop the pin at the place like this. Pretty cool. But they did not provide the sample source code for this, so I have no idea how we can do this. Because if you zoom in and you click like on other places like this, it will still support this card here, but I have no idea how we can detect clicks on the map as of now, because the documentation for this is so bad. I literally can't find much information in integrating Apple Maps into my application from the docs at all. I have to Google, use ChatGPT. It's a mess. So rightfully, there'll be like a card here for the users to filter the list that they have, and then it will render the pins accordingly on the map. So that is a lot of work to be done, and it seems like that can't be done within 24 hours. And then we have a tab here for the notifications that is completely blank right now, and we have a tab for the user's profile. This will lead to your own profile where people can see your profile, your lists, your places, and it completes the whole social community aspect of this platform here. I would say it's about 70% done. The rough base features are there, like adding the places to the list. If you go to the place here, it will show the location name, a map of the place, and then here will be the recent posts. So you can click on this to add to your lists. But right now, it only supports one, and there's no display of this location is already in which list. So if I click on it, it will update it, and then it will still replicate it for a third time here. I've also created a LinkedIn page for this already. Why not, right? And we've got a logo here, but I've not generated the favicon yet. So right now I'm going to prioritize deploying this to the cloud and serving this platform to the bean.place domain. So right now I'm creating a snapshot of the existing Cosmic server over on my Hetzner cloud. So I typically use Hetzner to deploy my servers because they are super cheap and they perform so well. For the price you're paying, the specs is really very good compared to the other cloud providers. So I'm just waiting for this to complete, and we can create a new VM of this snapshot here. Then everything like the database, Nginx, reverse proxy, the server, everything will be set up nicely already, and we don't really need to touch much on the deployment from there. So right now the snapshot has been created. So we're just gonna head and create a server in Nuremberg, and we're gonna base off the snapshot here, and we're gonna use the shared vCPU for around €7 a month, and we're just gonna deploy that. Well, the time now is 1:28 PM. We managed to deploy it. 1:28 PM. And this is what we have. An internal server error on the domain. So I've been trying to set up the deployment for CI/CD as well as the staging server, and the database hasn't been even set up yet. I'm still missing the environment variables. So let's see how much longer this will take. Alright, the time now is almost 5 PM and I've finally deployed the application to the cloud. So this is the domain, bean.place. You can go to this domain right now and you'll see this. Yeah, I've pretty much deployed it, and it's 4:55 right now. It's like 3 or 4 hours late from our initial 24 hours. So I wouldn't really consider this as a fail. If we were to exclude the deployment, this will still barely consider like a pass because we got like most of the very foundational features up already. So over the next few days, I'll touch up a bit more on the application, and maybe by the time this video comes out, it will have a bit more features for you guys to use already.